Okay, let's unpack this.
Oh.
If you are tuned in with us today, and it is January 10th, 2026, you know exactly what kind of firestorm we are all sitting in.
Oh, it's a total firestorm.
The Thank You for Listening saga, D.L.B's supposed final stand.
Yeah.
We thought it was chaotic with that 18-track leak on December 26th. That was nothing. It is spiking all over again.
It's gone parabolic. I mean, we talked about this in E98 and E103, right? That initial 18-track drop, it felt so frantic, half-finished, like he just threw it out the door before vanishing.
Exactly. We all bought into that hard drive final stand theory. That he, sacrificed the polished version to keep the masters away from the label.
But that whole narrative is just, it's shattered now.
Completely shattered. The reality is shifting under our feet, like day by day. A week ago, we were hearing whispers of maybe a 29-track project.
Right, that was the big number, 29.
But as of this morning, January 10th, the leaks are confirming it. The mythical, the rumored 33-track collection. Yeah. It's real.
33. That number. It's been floating around in the deepest corners of Discord and Reddit forever, since 11SIX first even mentioned a huge project last summer. It's that number of creative symmetry D.L.B was always chasing.
And the speed of this is what's getting me. It's not a leak anymore.
No, it's an avalanche, a flood. We have 26 tracks out in the wild now. That leaves only 7 mysteries. The archive is almost complete and it is still raw, unmastered. Just pure chaos.
So our mission for this deep dive is clear. We're focusing entirely on the 11 newest tracks that have just surfaced. We have to analyze these lyrical truths he's dropping, which are, frankly, really uncomfortable sometimes.
And the accountability. He's finally owning up to some things.
Yes, and the strategic defiance in what has to be his final creative outpouring. We are analyzing this thing exactly as it's landing on hard drives everywhere, raw and completely unfiltered.
And we have to call it what it is. This whole leaked project, it's the Echo Archive. That's what we're calling it. D.L.B tried to force silence, right? He tried to control his own narrative by pulling the masters. But the fans, that collective loyalty, they just refuse to let him go quietly. They are leaking his own work back into existence. It's the audience defining the legacy, not the artist. We're diving into that Echo Archive.
And look, before we go any further, because this whole situation involves massive companies and, complicated artist agreements, we have to do this. Mandatory disclaimer.
Yep.
VividVoices Media and The Deep Dive are independent commentators. We have absolutely no official connection, no ownership alignment with D.L.B, the 11SIX Music, Neon Vision Studios, Orison Holdings, Visions to Ventures by D. Bates, or Dream 2 Real Management. None of it.
We're just analyzing the public spectacle, this musical history being written in real time, purely as deeply obsessed fans and outside observers.
We're living this saga right there with you.
Okay, so let's start with the chronology of the chaos, because you really need to understand how fast all this happened. We have to rewind just a little bit to late December.
Right before the big leak. D.L.B gave us those 2 official drops that, in hindsight, were obviously signaling the end. Mercy's Return on December 19th.
Such a beautiful, almost mournful track. And then came Purgatory on Christmas Day, which was just jagged and anxious.
And then, bam, the floodgates. December 26th, the very next day, that first leak of 18 tracks hits the web. And at first we all thought, okay, this is it. This is the album.
It felt so rushed, like you said, a collection of broken moments. But then if you were watching the forums, you saw the jump.
Oh, yeah.
The first 18 felt incomplete. But then around January 6th, new folders just started showing up, and suddenly the count was at 25 tracks. And that's when it really hit me that we were dealing with something way, way bigger.
Now here we are today with 26 confirmed, and everyone expecting a 33-track final album. It completely validates that fan theory, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That this was always meant to be a massive double album, an epic final statement, not some quick goodbye.
It makes his decision to just walk away feel so much heavier, so much more. Final. He clearly had so much more to say.
That volume, though, brings us back to one of the most interesting debates from when the first leak dropped.
The runtime.
The runtime. The initial 18 tracks clocked in at roughly 33 minutes. And knowing D.L.B, his obsession with cryptic messages, numerology, the whole 11SIX philosophy, was he literally trying to make the length of the album mirror the track count?
I remember that conversation. It's so his style. 33 minutes, 33 tracks.
At first I thought, no way, that's too on the nose. I was cynical. But now that we know the project is 33 tracks, I have to reconsider. Could he have been that calculated to create that perfect symmetry as a final cryptic equation?
I think so. It would be the ultimate, maybe even narcissistic act of creative completion before just silence. It's like saying, I finished the puzzle perfectly, now I quit.
That level of creative symmetry is exactly his brand. But the chaos around the actual release dates just completely undercuts that idea of control. Was it supposed to be December 31st? Was it January 23rd or the 30th?
The label 11SIX keeps shifting the goalposts, which suggests they were totally blindsided by whatever he did.
Which brings up a huge point. If he wanted that perfect symmetry, that control, why let any of it leak in the first place? The fact that 11SX, which is usually an ironclad operation, is struggling this much.
Yeah, they're scrambling.
It seems like the artist just walked, and the label, the one he built, is just trying to catch the pieces of this echo archive that the fans keep throwing back into the air.
And nothing signalizes that tension more than the missing outro.
Oh, man. Yeah.
In that first 18-track leak, the most powerful symbol of his exit was that last track to the HDD outro. You hear the engineer, that terrified whisper, "He took the hard drive." That was the moment, the digital deletion of his career.
The nuclear option.
Yeah.
And now, you look at the full 26 track list that's out there, and that file to the HDD outro, it's gone. It's been removed from the sequence. What do you even make of that?
The symbolism there it's profound and honestly a little terrifying. Before D.L.B took the hard drive physically, right, to stop any post-mortem monetization of the masters, that was about securing his silence.
Or right, in his financial freedom.
Exactly. But now, the actual digital file representing that act, the symbol of his final controlling move, is gone from the track list.
So he's not just deleting the masters. He's deleting the proof that he deleted the masters.
Yes. It reinforces this idea that he doesn't want the act of taking the hard drive to be the final statement. He wants the silence to be the statement. He's erasing his own footnote because even the footnote felt too performative.
Too much like content.
Exactly. He's removing the evidence of his own strategy to make his departure feel absolute, unrecorded, untraceable.
That urgency, that whole desire for an unrecorded truth, that leads us right into the core of these new tracks, doesn't it? They just pull the mask off in a way the first leaks only hinted at.
For sure.
We are going straight into what we're calling the architecture of pain. Let's focus on the tracks where D.L.B is talking about mental health, substance use, and just this deep personal isolation with, it's maximum vulnerability.
It's brutal honesty documented with sound. And we have to start with Narcotic Honest, track 10, produced by Hustle Harmonics. This track just immediately flips the script on how the entire genre talks about consumption.
It's not bragging.
Yeah.
It's not a flex. It's explaining the necessity of it just to survive his own reality.
Yeah, and that core thesis, that one line that will just live forever. I don't get high for fun, I get high to function.
Devastating.
Yeah.
That one line is revolutionary. It shifts the entire conversation from, like, recreational use to functional addiction. He's saying, I'm using this not to enhance my life, but to keep the life I built from completely collapsing.
And the production choice there is so key. Hustle Harmonics, known for those tight, anxious loops, those grinding bass lines. It frames the track perfectly. The beat doesn't swing, it clenches.
It really does. It reflects that clinical reality he's describing, not some glamorous club scene.
Yeah.
I have to say, I appreciate that he rejects that narrative so hard. He says it outright. This not rebel, this not cool, this not rock star script. But here's my hang-up, and I want to debate this. Is this level of raw, clinical truth? He's detailing his stomach flipping in the morning, hugging the toilet like it holding me intact. Is he actually just serving up a sophisticated justification for it? He's documenting the self-destruction, sure, but is he making it seem like a necessary tool for survival, and in doing so, kind of validating it?
That's a really powerful point. And functionally, yeah, he is saying, I need this to breathe. But I would argue he's not glamorizing the solution. He's violently documenting the failure of his own internal system. The lyrics aren't a celebration, they're an indictment. He details the specific paranoia, the teeth grinding, the heart racing, paranoid checking of doors and blinds. He's showing you the ugly, ugly cost.
But the root of it all, the thing he confesses to, is pure fear of his sober self. I get lit because I am scared of who I am when it's done. To me, that hits less like an indictment of a system and more like a total retreat from self-awareness. He's saying he prefers the medicated version of himself over the raw, terrifying truth of who D.L.B is unbuffered. He's choosing numbness.
He is. But in doing that, he's exposing the trauma script. He's telling us the pain is so overwhelming, the public image is so demanding, that the only manageable state is the chemically masked one. He even connects it to his relationships, right? I lost good women trying to hide this mess. I kept the secret safe. But the secrecy was the real stress.
Right.
It's not just about the high. It's about exposing the total collateral damage of running away. That's the honesty. That's what makes it so devastating. He's calling it narcotic honest because he's showing you the true ugly nature of running.
And that running leads us right into the physical space where he isolates. Track 12, parking lot therapy. Another Hustle Harmonics production. The car park, his silence bunker. That becomes his concessional.
This track literally maps the geography of his breakdown. He can't break down in the house. He has to maintain that illusion of control for his family, for his team. So he retreats to the one place where he's totally alone, surrounded by the car, talking circles with the steering wheel, no amen.
The genius of that line, no amen. It's like he's looking for forgiveness or salvation, but the only thing there is this cold, unfeeling steering wheel. He's arguing with these internal ghosts that do not need a crowd. He can only face his demons when he's completely alone.
And he admits the pressure. Got rent on my mind, got death in my chest. The weight of the world is a physical thing for him.
But the final act of parking lot therapy is the most revealing part. It shows why the performance is so necessary. He says, by the time I step out, face back in place, that whole session in the car is just to reset the public mask.
He uses that quiet space to reconstruct the public D.L.B. he needs to be to survive the next interaction. He makes sure everyone sees the 16 bars of swagger and never ever feels the pain that's sitting in that car.
He has to go to the car to argue with his ghosts, just so he can walk back inside and pretend they don't exist. It's just constant performance management. But here, he's letting us listen in on the rehearsal.
He needs the silence, not healing. He needs the car, the steering wheel, and his own internal violence just to reset the clock until the next breakdown is necessary. It's a profound look into the mental gymnastics it takes to maintain that legend facade.
A legend who is clearly thinking about his final legacy. And you can't talk about violence and darkness without getting to track 11, My Funeral. Also, Hustle Harmonics. This is the ultimate paradoxical legacy demand.
Oh, this track. This is D.L.B. dictating the terms of his own memory. The chorus is just pure, outrageous ego. It's almost funny in its bravado. My funeral gonna slap, don't play no sad shit. I want the subwoofers breaking down the casket.
It's a demand for a party, a final event. Just noise and chaos to counter his planned silence.
The verses are so deeply troubled. That's where the friction is. He's swinging wildly from, I'm from Texas, you ho, I am the greatest, to that raw existential pain we just heard in the parking lot. Got rent on my mind, got death in my chest, got fans calling me goat while I feel like a mess.
The song never resolves that conflict, does it? It just shoves the ego and the despair right next to each other and tells you, the listener, to deal with it.
Right, but I think just calling it ego misses the strategy. Is it just narcissism? Or is it a desperate final attempt to control the narrative? He knows the media will paint his exit as a breakdown, a collapse. By demanding a slapping funeral, he's trying to force an external story of success onto an internal feeling of being a mess.
That's a strong counterpoint. He's trying to do brand management even after death. He's demanding we remember the legend, the success, but he's forcing us to listen to the failure, the existential crisis that made him want to leave in the first place.
It's the ultimate package deal. You get the legend, but you also have to take the wreckage.
And that wreckage is what makes him so relevant, I think. He's laying it all bare, the wealth, the fame, the artistic perfection. None of it solves the fundamental problem of just being human. He's using these last tracks to show that the monster he built, D.L.B., is completely unsustainable. So moving from that internal pain to his external world, the next group of tracks is what I'm calling the relational audit. These songs are him redefining relationships, setting these really clear, non-negotiable boundaries before he leaves for good.
Absolutely. This is the application of the 11 SIPEX philosophy to his personal life.
Totally.
The whole 11 SIPEX structure is built on a no-chains model, right? Artists stay because they want to, not because of a contract. These tracks apply that same ruthless business logic to emotional commitments. If you aren't serving the mission of peace, you're out, regardless of history.
And we have to start with track 4, I Forgave You. It features Leona J., Leannery, and Morel Lux, and it's produced by DJ ReVYR, who we know is pronounced River.
And that title holds the entire philosophy. Forgiveness without reconciliation.
That distinction is everything, isn't it? I forgave you, but I don't rock with you. This is detachment as a form of healing. He's doing the emotional work for his own peace. He's letting go of his anger, but he is not welcoming that toxic person back into his life.
And his lyrical critiques are like a scalpel. He says, you ain't evil, you just selfish as hell. He calls out how the pain in the relationship was treated as trauma on repeat instead of something to be healed.
But the most devastating line, the one that I think defines betrayal in our current age of content, is this. You was screenshotting moments, trying to crop out the mess.
Oof, that is so real and just heartbreaking. He's calling out the person who performs loyalty but weaponizes vulnerability.
They wanted the aesthetic of being with D.L.B, the social currency of it. But they didn't want the actual raw, bleeding human being behind the curtain. They just cropped out the chaos to make their own feed look good. That is a truly modern form of betrayal.
And it connects right back to that 11 SIX model of self-ownership. If you're only there for the performance, you are a liability, not a partner. He finds his peace not by making up, but by walking away and saying, I don't need an ending speech. He audited the relationship and found it was insolvent.
But if I forgave you, is D.L.B pointing the finger, then track 21, Bro Some Hearts 2, is the crucial pivot to self-accountability. This track is so important because it counters that victim narrative he leaned on in earlier tracks like Where Were You?
This is a seismic shift. This is D.L.B auditing himself. And he owns his failures. I ain't just a victim in it. I see my face in the wreck. That's my part in it. That takes incredible strength, or maybe incredible desperation. He's accepting that his chaos was a direct cause of the destruction.
And he owns the strategy behind his performance. He admits he used his trauma like a shield in a script. He confesses that some chairs stayed empty because I walked from it. This reveals that his vulnerability was calculated sometimes.
Yeah, he sold the story of the scarred boy so he could keep his real, vulnerable self locked away.
That confession, admitting he was loud with the hurt when it was done to him, but went quiet when the blame ever smelled like me, that is a massive admission of emotional immaturity and manipulation.
For sure. But is this purely an act of cleansing? Or is this another final self-serving strategy to control his image?
I think it has to be both. He's leaving music, but he's never retiring from the game of defining himself. By confessing his manipulations now, he clears the slate. He's basically saying, I know I was the villain sometimes, but I'm telling you myself so you can't tell me later.
He's getting ahead of any future biography or tell-all.
Exactly. He's okay with looking like the villain as long as he's the one writing the script.
That's the complex layer that makes his vulnerability so challenging to process. It's always raw, but it's always tactical. He's documenting his own villainy and saying, I'm fine with the ending because he wrote it himself.
Now let's contrast those toxic, performative relationships with track 24, Ain't Postin', which features Raiko Teo and is produced by Joyans. This is the anti-content relationship. This is the goal state of his exit.
And Joyans is known for more atmospheric, reflective production, which just perfectly frames this track as a space of calm. This song defines connection built entirely on privacy and healing. We ain't posting shit, they don't need to know it's real.
The focus completely shifts from public validation, chasing the viral, to actual emotional feeling. We just chasing how we feel.
And the intimacy he describes is beautiful because it's built around processing trauma, not creating it. He raps about the partner who helps him by fucking out the demons that be running in my head. She doesn't screenshot his messy moments. She kiss him when she trace him, talking about his scars, the dark parts of his life.
She is the anti-content relationship. She doesn't flinch when he struggles. She grabs his face and keeps it heavy on the calm. That is the profound difference from the people who cropped out the mess. This partner embraces the whole man, the legend, and the wreckage.
And this relationship prioritizes human calm over public performance.
She's not there to save him. She's there to protect the vulnerability of the human. It's about letting the legend feel human, protected from the scrutiny of the feed, which is exactly the goal of his retirement. He wants a private life where connection isn't immediately turned into content.
And speaking of performance and content and all the toxicity around it, track 23, Bottle Girl Gospel with NeonKore, produced by Hustle Harmonics, is just a stunning piece of social commentary on the whole high life.
This track is literally the gospel from the club floor. The Bottle Girl is the dark truth teller. NeonKore's chorus says it all. She's seen the demons sitting right next to me. She's the silent observer who sees the truth behind the VIP section, the paranoia, the loneliness, the violence that all the wealthy patrons try to bury.
And D.L.B orders 10 cases just to watch her walk back, knowing she's the most real person in that room. She's serving poison just to get her family fed. She's selling destruction, but her motive is pure survival.
It's transactional honesty versus the fake love of the industry people he usually deals with.
Exactly. He tips her because her head was pure, recognizing her hustle is based on survival, not clout. And the contrast is just devastating. The rappers are drowning in poison for their ego while she's dispensing it for rent. The real gospel isn't in a church. It's whispered by the worker who sees the total cost of that facade.
It's a painful meditation on the economy of trauma.
It's the ultimate indictment of the system he was in. He's in the VIP section, acknowledging that the person serving him poison is morally superior to him because at least her transaction is honest. That level of self-awareness must be exhausting, and it explains why he had to get out.
Exhausting. And clearly it demanded constant vigilance. Which brings us to track 20, Two Phones No Peace, produced by Joyans. Just the title alone says so much. It connects right back to the paranoia in Game Still Ain't Free and the anxiety in Narcotic Honest.
This track is so much deeper than just, a status symbol. In the world D.L.B came from, two phones don't mean you're rich, they mean you're in danger. One phone is for the legal world, 11SX Music, Orison Holdings, the legit executive life.
And the second phone is the ghost. It's for the dangerous past, the streets, the contacts that ensure your survival, but also make sure you never, ever have peace. It's the threat that's always calling, even when you're trying to retire.
You know that saying, good news travels slow, bad news has two phones. The very fact that you need two identities means there is no single integrated life, and therefore no true peace.
He can't completely shed that hustler identity because it's the foundation of his survival. So he carries that weight, making sure peace is always just out of reach.
And if you link this back to Narcotic Honest, the two phones are the sonic representation of that anxiety. He has to check the doors and blinds because the past is always calling on that second line. It ensures the new, healed self he's trying to build in Ain't Postin' can never fully exist without that constant threat.
The two phones are a physical barrier against peace.
It's the ultimate paradox, really. He buys peace by walking away, but he has to stay connected to the threat just to stay safe.
Let's move to the final set of tracks here, what we're calling the collective closure. These are the songs that really define the meaning of his disappearance. It's not a personal collapse. It's an act of strategy and a shared prayer for the survival of 11SX Music.
This is D.L.B defining his legacy not through sadness or weakness, but through just absolute, unshakable defiance. Track 9, Back on That, with VVST, produced by DJ RivyYR, is pure exterior confidence.
He celebrates his status with that iconic line, "I ain't do no shows, I just buy new clothes." He's just flexing on the past, talking about blowing stacks, running laps on anyone who thought he fell off. This track is designed to make sure his retirement looks intentional, tactical, like the ultimate power move, not a breakdown.
But VVST's role here is so essential. Tavion Banks' voice V struggle, he provides that melodic, soulful chorus that just anchors D.L.B's aggressive front. VVST sings, "If I ever fell off, I ran laps on that." He's the emotional release valve.
Totally. While D.L.B is giving the gritty, factual verse about the hustle, VVST provides the spiritual conviction that makes it all feel earned.
And VVST's lyrics, they confirm his authenticity. He remembers lonely nights, staring at the ceiling fan, rotting in a cell. He is the voice of the younger generation D.L.B is mentoring, showing that even with fame, deep inside my chest, I still feel a little pain.
D.L.B needs that vulnerability there to keep his own defiance from sounding hollow. He's validating the collective struggle.
And that earned defiance just explodes on track 19, Strategy, also produced by DJ RivyYR. This is the mic drop. This is the track that reframes his entire departure not as a collapse, but as a calculated, powerful move. It's his exit manifesto.
If I go quiet, it is strategy. That's the mantra. That is the line that will define the rest of his legend. He is stripping everyone of the right to define his absence as weakness or fear. He says it plainly. You think quiet means scared? That is crazy to me. I go silent when I choose my target carefully.
This is that spiritual transformation we talked about. Turning pain into power. I turned the pain into a battery. The confidence is just absolute. Quiet doesn't mean scared. It means he's choosing the moment to execute his plan. And he asserts his dominance with that violent imagery. I just let the Draco does anoint.
But wait, hold on. If he says his silence is strategy, how do we square that with the fact that his entire archive is leaking right now?
Yeah.
Doesn't this massive leak of 26 tracks completely undercut his claim of strategic silence?
See, that's the friction point. The content control part failed spectacularly. But D.L.B's strategy was never really about controlling the content. His strategy, defined by taking the hard drive, was about controlling the asset. He's going quiet to protect his integrity in his life.
Okay.
And while he's doing that, he's strategically ensuring that 11SX Music has the infrastructure to keep going without him. The fact that the audience leaked the truth only confirms how serious his exit was. It solidifies his definition that peace comes at any price. His silence is still tactical, no matter how loud the fans get.
So it solidifies his exit as the culmination of that no price on peace philosophy, even if the fans won't grant him that peace right away.
And finally, we get to the beautiful collective closing statement. Track 31, Our Prayer. Hustle harmonics on production, and a massive lineup. Zongsky, Nisnave, Leonary, VVST, Mireille Lux, and more. This is the 11SX community stepping up to hold the weight.
This is not just one man's prayer anymore. It's a true ensemble piece, emphasizing the collective's role in his journey. And D.L.B. opens it not with ego, but by accepting blame. Just respecting that you suffered from the way I exist, he's acknowledging the collateral damage of his chaos on the people who love him.
It's the final emotional audit. He accepts that his legend hurt the people around him, and then the collective voice closes the circle. VVST's final statement defines the whole 11SX philosophy in musical form. Peace ain't a promise, it's what we became.
They didn't achieve peace because he left. They became the structure that survives the storm.
Exactly, this is the final message. The family remains, organized and resilient, even if the architect is gone. He built a system that, crucially, does not require him to operate it.
Okay, wow. That was intense. We've just absorbed 11 new, raw, devastating truths from this Echo archive. And it confirms the narrative, right? Pain, honesty, and a strategic withdrawal. The leaks have made the archive almost complete. They've cemented D.L.B's exit on his own terms.
He documented his truth, and then he tried to digitally erase it.
But the fans, through this Echo archive and the constant leaking, they've defined his legacy with permanence. They've forced the story to be told now, not years from now.
But here's the massive pivot. We've been focusing on D.L.B's final statement, but what's next for 11SIX music? The whole point of his exit architecture was to make sure 11SIX survived and thrived without Daniel Bates at the helm.
And the audacity of their next move is just classic D.L.B.
Yeah.
He is not allowing a single moment of mourning or stagnation. He built the structure, and now he's immediately testing its strength.
The rumors right now are absolutely screaming. We are looking at an immediate shift of focus onto Leonary, formerly Tala Diwata.
Wait, a Taladiwa, a Leonary mega album. This month, the very first month of the new year, 11.6 music going historic again, with Leonary this time. The sheer audacity, the creative fire, is he using her to finish his own equation?
It's rumored to be another massive 33-track project, matching that mysterious symmetry D.L.B was chasing. Set for release this month, 01 by 2026, produced by the entire collective. DJ ReVR, Joyans, Hustle Harmonics, DJ Climax X1, the whole crew.
This is the immediate aggressive continuation of the label's legacy. He's proving the infrastructure works without him even stepping on a stage.
And the centerpiece of this rumored project is apparently track 28, Reply to Say to You. And we're hearing this track was written by D.L.B himself to his 16 years younger self.
No way.
And he's using Leonary's voice to deliver the message. It's a response to his own Say to You freestyle from all those years ago.
So his presence is immediately shifting from performing his own trauma to guiding others through theirs. He's speaking from the future to his past self, but through his mentee's voice.
That's not retirement. That's a strategic shift in role. He's moving to the ultimate architect position. The voice of the struggle continues, just through the structure he built.
So what does this all mean ultimately? D.L.B intentionally deleted his own archive. He chose silence to preserve his integrity, to stop the exploitation of his art. But the leaks, the fans, this Echo archive, they have defined his legacy globally and immediately.
If silence was his strategic weapon, what does it mean that the audience's refusal to be silent, their commitment to pushing this Echo archive into the world, is what ultimately cemented his truth? Is the true measure of integrity in the streaming age no longer the carefully planned release, but the leak?
Is the fans' refusal to let the art die the final chaotic, beautiful act of his career? That's the question you have to sit with, especially as we watch the music continue immediately through Leonary.
We will absolutely be there for that deep dive. Stay tuned.